I think more businesses should use an old vehicle like this as part of their signage, as part of their marketing. It turns out this place here, the Old Vine on Falls Road, we're just inside or just outside of the city line, I'm not sure. I went in and talked to the owner, and everybody loves this car. Kids love this car. They put Pokemon Go things in there. I don't know what that means. I mean, you know, it was an app thing that kids liked, a video game thing. Point being, it's popular. It's going to give the guy a little bit more attention than he'd otherwise get. Sadly, I know that I'm saying this because I selfishly want to buy a bunch of old vans that don't even need to have engines in them and stuff anymore. I would just fix them up on the outside, make sure they had all of their chrome bits and all of their glass, and then I would paint signs on them. I know that I want this selfishly, and that's the reason why I'm not your designer when you hire me to get a sign painted. You know, I'm your sign painter. I know this about myself. I'm in my full regalia here, as you'd see me on a wall in winter, maybe in your parking garage, whatever, outside. I've painted big murals outside 12 months of the year. This year was a toughie. It was really cold. It's just such a handsome old world type of car. It's from Europe. It makes you feel a little bit fancier when you come to buy your gin. The graphics on this car were done with vinyl. And I don't know, I think they've held up pretty well for vinyl. That from what I remember, I talked to the owner of the place last week. This is like 25 years old or something. I mean, that's what happens to vinyl after 25 years. Also, it was laid out by, definitely laid out by somebody in a sign shop. A sign painter would never lay your sign out like this. The way that it's kind of, I believe that's like, you know, that's like a function of desktop publishing where you have like a fabric warp type of thing where you can match a curve by pulling little points, little bits of the outside of a square and little bits of the inside of the, you know, you create angles. This is not how a sign painter would have laid that out. Even me, even though I'm not a designer, but I would have laid that out in a totally different way. I think that thing has a really nice kind of decay to it. The red has seemed to have lasted longer than the gold. I think this was like a gold letter with a red highlight in the middle. That's probably more like what it looked like back in the day. And maybe a dark gold, maybe two colors of gold here on this guy. I can't even tell what that used to be. It's like a bunch of grapes. Maybe it was a bunch of grapes with some leaves around. I guess that's what the Vine logo thing would have looked like on the car also. This kind of sign is nice too, but the car is really what does it for me. Now the current owner says that he hasn't driven it in about 5 years. He used to drive it, and then he says people, you know, when he would drive it, take it to go get it repaired, people would be driving by and they would miss the shop. They would end up going past the shop, missing everything. And then they'd come in and complain. Like, hey, where was the car? I couldn't find anything. Couldn't find you. You were gone. Please put the car back. Look at that handsome old vehicle. It makes people think of a time when things were sturdier, like everyday objects were sturdier. It makes you feel more sturdy. And I'd like to make it clear to you that, you know, if you're a fancy business that has a designer, like you work with a designer, you can tell them you want that sign, you want, you know, your marketing to be done on an old vehicle. And I will buy the old vehicle and I'll make sure it's complete with all of the glass and all of the bits of chrome and stuff. It doesn't have to have an engine in it. I have a great auto mechanic that they could weld like little tow points, make it easy for that thing to be towed around, you know? But you just tell your designer that, you know, tell him that you're working with me, Greg Gannon of the Baltimore Gannons, painter of signs and murals, and we'll hook it up. I cut my own hair this week with a Flowbee, my mom's Flowbee. I think it looks pretty good. Somebody on Instagram reminded me that even George Clooney uses it. That's right. The Clune dog. He uses a Flowbee. That's probably a lie. See, like I said, I'm not the best at marketing, you know, all of these videos are just an ad for me and the things that I do, the services I can provide for you, which is just painting. but it's a special kind of painting. It's a very fancy kind of painting. And, you know, like an old car, there's basically nothing that's going to add authenticity as much as painting your sign on the brick permanently. I'm going to walk around the building. I'm going to go this way so that the camera will be on my good side the whole time. Look at that puppy. It's the chrome. It's the chrome that makes your business look so good. My van, the Ford Econoline, is kind of the, you know, the older version. Like one generation earlier than this had lots of chrome on it. And I even was thinking when there was a period about a year ago where I had a lot of money in the bank, and I was thinking maybe I should get a backup van that's actually older. I found one that probably would have worked. It was brown. I love an old brown vehicle. And it had chrome, and it was like one of Ford's most reliable engines. I don't remember which one. It's a different one. Oh, I think it was the straight 6, the Ford inline 6-cylinder engine. That's like a 301 cubic inch or whatever. It's kind of a huge inline 6 engine that they put into school buses and dump trucks for decades. Not the most fuel efficient of their engines, but it was paired with a manual transmission. So Google said that it would have gotten about the same mileage as this one. I should have got it. Think of the authenticity. See, I'm kicking myself right now that I didn't buy that older van. It might be a little bit soon to say it, but I think the cardigan is working, and I think it's working inside of the overalls. Originally, I thought maybe I'd have to take it off to have it be outside so that it shows up inside of the jacket. By the way, the jacket and the insulated overalls are non-negotiable. That's something I can't change about my outfit. But if you have any ideas about another way that I can show that I'm fancy while still wearing the jacket and the overalls, drop a comment. Okay, that helps with the views and stuff too. Maybe you should subscribe. The audio will be good, and there's no way I'm stopping. I think what I'm liking about the cardigan inside of the overalls is that it's just a little sort of square. It's like something that I placed in there, like my picture-in-picture technology I've been working on.